What's up, guys? Hope everybody's having a wonderful night. We are just crossing, 12 a.m. here on the West Coast. We'll be watching the German market as it gets rolling. And then we'll watch some of our actual pre-market and see where we're going today. I'm expecting some good things. I don't know how much of this threshold news is going to affect us immediately today. We'll probably even go over some of that information throughout this live stream, just because I wanted to see where some people are getting some of these dates. Because from my understanding, that they have 13 days to basically make good on these failure to delivers, but it's after 13 days of consecutive, days of being on this list. So if we actually look, let me pull up Market Chameleon here, actually, because I'll show you guys something unique. Jackson, what's going on, man? How are you? I really enjoyed your music video today, man. You're talented. I didn't know that. I knew that you could rap, but that was really good. Very well done. All right, so, well, obviously to get on this list, it's 5 consecutive settlement days. So I don't know if this is the part that I want to understand, is if that's included in the 13 days or not when they've been on the list, if that makes sense. So I am digging into that. But currently, if we look at AMC, it's showing Market Chameleon's only showing 1 consecutive day. So if they have, but my understanding is if you have 13 consecutive days is when they can basically stop your ability to short the stock and force you to cover. Yeah, Jackson, I appreciate it, man. Always coming and showing me love, man. Literally before I was anybody on YouTube, Jackson was literally one of the guys that I had already looked up to that was a big person in the space, and he reached out, man. He looks at everybody all equal, so I appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm curious to see, and then I was looking through, I found some interesting stuff when I was kind of looking in some research papers of this. So I posted this on Twitter, but really what this part says right here, it says many of the SHOs, basically listed stocks, are priced less than $5 at the time that they list. So the majority of the stocks they're saying that meet this threshold list are OTC or pink sheets, right? So it leads me to believe that to see a security like AMC actually land on this list is pretty significant news. Hey, Jackson, I feel the same way about you too, man. Let's go back over to these German markets and see where we're at. Let me give this a little refresh. This is pretty unique stuff, though. This is uncharted territory. I shouldn't say uncharted, but I guess one thing that I'll tell you guys, this is what I looked up also. So if we come, where did I have this? So I want to say, okay, so December 8th, okay, of 2020, we did see GameStop hit this threshold security list as well, right? And we didn't see, obviously, it have its initial run up till the end of January. So I just want you guys to have some, not because we're on this list, not obviously expect that we're going to see some immediate action, because obviously we could see here. But also what I think the key component that we're looking for is the consecutive days. We want this number to pile up right here. So AMC, we want to see this. We don't want to see this. I don't mean it that way, but we want to, I mean, for the sake of what can happen if they fail to make good on their FTDs, we need this number to kind of roll in consecutive days. Let me read. I have to blow the chat up. I'm feeling blind right now. Now, y'all, what's up? Thank you for joining me. Yes, I love all the apes as well. David, I 100% agree. The community's been top notch for us. Hayden showing my boy Jackson some love. Yeah, he's one of the best to do it. David, I'll agree with you, man. There's I haven't been in this, I started doing this in February. So, and I think part of the reason why I started the channel was because, hey, as I learned, I wanted to be able to kind of document this journey, number one, for me, so I can look back at this. But generally, because I'm still an amateur at this, if I can understand something kind of like Jackson was saying, then I think I can articulate it in a way that you guys can understand it as well. David says, do companies fall on the list often? I would say not. Like, the ratio is probably a very small percentage. We can actually look. So this data is like, there's no, so if we want to look, just like, let's say we're going to come back up to this date range, like where we're at now here in June. Why the hell is, there it goes. So if I wanted to like go back to the 1st of June, we can see like Loan Depot is on here, Levi, QuantumScape. So what we want to see, or what we don't want to see, but for AMC's case, again, going back, if we want this to inflict the most pain, we'd like to see consecutive days. So like Levi, boom, another day here. And so actually this page, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 5 securities that landed on this list that day. The third, let's see how long Levi was on there. So Loan Depot, Levi again as well. So what's weird is I actually seen, when I was going through, it's a lot, but I was actually finding some ETFs in here that were what we would consider to be heavily manipulated as well in terms of shorting AMC. They were on these lists for a few consecutive days as well. We don't want to, like, if they get one and done, that means that they've done some sort of covering, right? Like if they don't get this on this list. So it'll be unique to see. Like, I can't see, there's not a world where I can understand where they cover some of these FTDs and we don't see that price action. And I know the next question is probably going to be like, well, can they cover it in the dark pool? Well, in the dark pool, I mean, those transactions still have to be reported. There's still a little bit of a delay, but we still eventually will see that price impact. I also have a hard time believing they're going to be able to cover a lot of these positions. I think that this is kind of like the fork in the road, because if they're going to have to make good on tons of failure to delivers, right? Let's say this number, and we all have our guesses, but we don't, like, I don't know what that number is exactly, but let's just assume that it's in the high, area, the threshold that we're thinking of. I don't know where they're going to get the shares to be able to cover this. Let me come back to the chat, you guys. I'm sorry, I'm sitting here talking and rambling, not paying attention to you guys. What about other companies with 18 days or more? Have restrictions been applied to shorting them? I haven't dug that deep into it, to be honest with you. That would probably be my course of action. But we can kind of start looking into some of that as well. Like if we want to come over here, like this company is 34 days on the list. Over the 6-month period, they went up 25%, but on the month itself is down 6%. This is the 20-year Treasury Bear 3X. I don't know what that is. That's above me. But see, the thing is look, there's a big look at all these companies that are on the list, right? And I want to point out something that's very significant. Look at their shares outstanding. Okay, the only one that even comes close is STEM Class A. Outside of that, look at this. This is a big fundamental difference, and why this has a much bigger impact, I think, on us. And again, if you go back to this article they stress tested this, they seen that basically the majority of the stocks that land on that list are under $5, and when they're actually not under $5, when they're above $10 in price, they find in the short term those prices have pretty moderate returns, which is kind of, to me, what is that? It's a short squeeze. It's like in the short term, they have moderate returns. Snook, what's going on? Thank you for coming, and good morning to you. It's 12 a.m., so I guess it is morning for me here on the West Coast. He says, what do you think a lot about the orders in the ADF and how there's no info on the ADF from FINRA? I think it's possible that, there could be some underreporting. I haven't, to be honest with you, my knowledge is not great on that part. This is something that I've learned recently. I knew that there was a 24-hour delay on some of this, on like these ATS exchanges. So basically everything that's not on the stock exchange, dark pools, the VWAP trades, basically everything that's going off exchange, right? I know that there is a delayed reporting time. They can delay in, up to 24 hours after the trade is executing. But one thing that was interesting that I found, so on these larger orders, so let's say if it takes them forever to fill the order, if they're doing such a huge buy, as it's slowly being filled, that's not being reported until the position is basically being executed. So I think that, you know, maybe there's a lot of that shit that's being held up, which is why we're not seeing reporting. But that's about the most that I could speak on it, and that's just pure speculation. I really don't know. Yeah, let's go back to the to the chart for Germany here. Sorry, let me refresh this for you guys. Up 0.23% right now. You say Germany trading at 84 euro for AMC. I don't see that, dude. I see this. Where the hell do you link me what you're looking at? I'm like, holy shit. I'll have to watch. I don't watch a lot of Charlie stuff, but I'll have to go and check that out, man, so I could kind of catch myself up on really what you're talking about, because I haven't seen that yet. I know a lot of these reporting, like, I know a lot of the shit is like these guys are self-reporting, you know, stuff, which is crazy. I even did a video on like how the short exempt stuff works for like the market makers or the brokers, right? And how that they can basically avoid like SSR, and they could do all kinds of crazy shit and report things on how they want. And basically until somebody comes around and like physically snoops and like into their books, it's pretty much like free game. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, if we would have had that kind of move in the pre-market, you guys would have seen me do a freaking backflip. And I don't know how to do a damn backflip. I'm expecting that we're going to have some good, I mean, all things considered, like, let's say we see no actual, like, impact from this, like, in a technical aspect. I think the fact that it's definitely felt like it's reigniting some passion for some people. It could increase some FOMO buying pressure tomorrow. My outlook is bullish for this week, really. Yeah, I'd like to see some strong moves in the pre-market. Hopefully we can come out running. I appreciate you guys spending your early mornings, I guess, for a lot of you guys on the East Coast with me. It's really quite a pleasure to be chatting with you guys. The ape community has done a lot for me in ways that I'm not sure that people even really understand, and I think a lot of people feel that way that are kind of jumping into this. It's very fulfilling outside of just it was never about, you know, this whole YouTube experience. It was never about like money or anything like that. It's again just documenting my experience, and I have made some really close friends already that I hope to make money with in the future as well. Really going to open up a lot of doors for a lot of us, I believe. I appreciate that, Hetty, man. Really, I do. I'm looking for, let's see here. This is the interesting part. I posted this on Twitter. It says that if a fail to deliver position in a threshold security persists for 13 trading days, the broker or the broker's clearinghouse must close the short position by purchasing securities of like kind and quantity. After the 13 days have elapsed, the broker may not accept any more short sell orders until the fail to deliver position is closed by purchasing securities. So whoever owes on these failure to delivers, if they stay on this list for 13 trading days, they're going to lose their ability to short the stock. bought $1,145 calls for June 16th. Wow, you're coming in big brass monkey ball swinging, dude. That's crazy. I'm wishing you luck, man. Let's actually look at this real quick, because we're not seeing. Oh shit, we're actually dropping a little bit in the not pre-market, but the German market. So let's do this. Let me pull up. I'll show you guys. I covered this in the video that I did today, but if you haven't seen the video, we'll look at these again. We can look at them a little bit more in depth, since we'll be chilling for a little bit. We're looking for AMC. So I'm looking for $500,000 plus in value. So here was the big money purchases today in the options chain. We had a call for December 17th at the $145 strike price. This person purchased this at $1.27 million. That got them 1,144 contracts. Did it when the price was $56.67. Now on the inverse, granted, this is this looks like almost like a hedge, because it's so near, the strike, that we're already kind of at the money on that. But this is June 2nd. And this is, $500,000 on this put as well. But that looks a little bit more like a hedge to me. The more bullish things is when you see above, basically above ask. So let me take this off. So when you see these double A's, at the end of the details, that means that, especially when it's a sweep, it means you had somebody rush to multiple different exchanges to get their order filled, right? It didn't matter where, because they need to get the order filled. And when that AA stands for above the ask, meaning they're paying like a higher price to fill it, basically. Like an impulse buy is almost the best way I can explain it in a simple term. Let me come back to chat, guys. Sorry if I'm losing track of you. Snook says the retail revolution is real. 100% it is. It very much is. Hey, dude, will 3 shares and some $145 June 9th calls be enough to buy some land? Man, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you that. I'm bullish as ever. I know what the prices I expect. I could tell you that I wouldn't be surprised about, the stock hitting 4 figures. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of an answer, but it's just an impossible question to answer, really, man. What I can say is that if you believe in the stock and you're convicted, the most simple and easy thing to do is to buy and hold, should you choose that, you want to partake in investing more in the stock. Hello from Hong Kong, Victor. Well, thank you for stopping by, man. People from all across the world. I'm happy to have you here. David says, so either they have to cover or stay on the list. Well, yeah, so staying on the list, I mean, it's not as simple as just, or it is as simple as staying on the list. But yeah, if they're on that list, they can't short the security. They won't be able to enter any new more short positions until they cover those failure to delivers, which is a good thing. There's going to be, this is, in my opinion, what we're kind of looking for if they manage to stay on that list, which they're going to stay on that list. If they don't, they need to cover. So we're going to see some sort of covering, relatively soon, I have to think. Depending on what the number is, it's very hard to tell. I don't know what that drastic number is. Daniel, yes, I got you. I already sent that in to my boy to make sure he adds Charles Payne. King Vortex says they were on the list at 121. Were they? Let's take a look, because I did see them. Let's go back to January 21st here. They're not here on the first page. GameStop, they were. So we've seen them here. Let's on the 21st. Let's see if they were consecutively on there. No, they were on there for one day, it looks like. And then we'll check one day following that. Okay, so they were on there for 1 day. So they didn't really have any of the rules like that we're talking about apply to them where they couldn't short the stock or anything like that. Good indicator. Another thing though, if you look back to, I think December 4th, I think is what they said it was. Let me look. I wrote this down in my notes. What is it? It was December 23rd. So you had December 23rd that GameStop was on this list as well. So it was on the list twice before its run up then, and there was no consecutive days. So we could be near like something. I just think it's not safe to put any like predictions on like a date or time, but we know, I think the one thing that is factual, that we know that there's going to have to be some sort of covering on this, or they're not going to be able to short the stock after that 13-day consecutive period. Let's go back. Let me refresh this and make sure it's updating. All right, what are you guys saying here? Hello from Alabama. Well, thank you for coming in here, Robert. I appreciate you coming and chilling with me. St. Paul, Minnesota in the house. People from all over, man. It's so crazy. Blue Moose, thank you for coming by. I grew up in Las Vegas. Lone Mountain and Jones. If Search Marketing says, if shares are being snatched up by retail during those 13 days, those that have to cover broker clearinghouse, those that cover eventually would be incentivized to cover sooner. No. Yeah, man, to be honest with you, there's part of me that doesn't know how they're going to do it. You know what I mean? Like they have to cover. I'm assuming that you can't, I'm pretty sure that you can't cover these with synthetic shares, right? So they're going to have to cover, and I just don't know where they're going to get the shares from. We might see some, some impact of that. That goes back even to all that dark pool stuff that we're seeing with that short volume. And I that white paper, I'm a firm believer. I've seen some contention to it as well, but I really do believe that short volume in the dark pool is actually representative of the market maker shorting the stock to fulfill buying orders. So even those shares that are getting, bought there, those are all fake. So in my mind, they have to there's going to be some sort of covering here. So I think we're in a great position. This is good news for us that they hit that list. And in a weird way, I kind of hope that we stay on it. Object to the text. GS, thank you so much for the subscription. I appreciate it, brother. So we boom. Pros, I hope so. It's like I said, I think it's safe. I feel like I'm doing you guys a disservice if I'm saying, yeah, it's on the brink. But this is good stuff for us. Like I said, I think what it does prove is there's going to be some level of covering coming up soon. And this number on, the threshold is only 10,000, right? To hit this list, or 0.5% of the outstanding shares. So it's, what if this number is way more than 10,000? I know there's been people saying, hey, the number's 17 million. I haven't verified those numbers myself, but where are they going to get those shares to cover? To me, it gives me a very bullish feeling without giving you guys like dates or predictions, because it could take a while. Patiently holding 9,003 shares of AMC. Jeez, man. Big dog. Oh, was it, Cody? We can go back and look. So sorry. Nobody's going anywhere, so I don't need to feel rushed. We can go back and look at this. So we do see it on the 23rd. We got GameStop. Let's look. Actually, I could probably do this. I don't know why I'm being silly. So the 23rd, we did see it. The 22nd. The 21st, actually. Okay, so nothing on the 20th. Let's go to the 24th. Okay, the 24th, we've seen it. Okay, so we've seen it. We've seen it for basically 3 days in December. And then let's go look at, I think somebody said the 23rd is when it started for GME. No. It was on the 20th, the 21st, the 22nd. Yeah, so they was on there for consecutive days, like 3 and 3, leading up to the initial run-up from GameStop. So we want to see, like I said, just if history can repeat itself, we want to see this consecutive day list go up. We want to see this number continue going up for the sake of, if to see if history can repeat itself. And I wouldn't mind seeing us remain on that list for that 13 trading days and actually have them not be able to short the stock and really see where that leads us. Then we could see some real crazy shit. Again, though, it's all backed on the fact that they stay on that list, in my opinion. Frank, that I cannot confirm. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do research on that and figure out. But, I'm leaning towards saying that it's when it's listed on that list because of what Market Camillan's telling me right now. So on an institutional, like, software level, they're tracking it as one consecutive day so far. So I assume that since it got listed again today, we will see 2 consecutive days tomorrow when the market opens. And then that'll give me some confirmation tomorrow as well if I see that. And then I'll feel more comfortable talking about, when that 13-day timer starts or it did start. But again, though, if you guys really look at this is why this is significant. And going back, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but this part right here, it says typically the majority of stocks that get listed in this threshold security list basically are OTC and pink sheets, stocks that are under $5, right? And that makes sense. Look at the volume in some of these. Where the hell am I? I completely just lost where the fuck I'm at. Maybe I dragged it off the screen. But basically, when we were looking at this security list, let me pull it back up real quick. So when we're looking at these threshold lists, the volume, the market cap on these, nowhere even near AMC. AMC is like a giant in a sea of like a bunch of, miniatures here. Literally, it's just a big giant that shouldn't be in here. So interesting to think about. Let's go back to the German markets. Down 0.25%. Let me go ahead and refresh this. Dude, it is getting so hot in this house. It's 92 degrees outside still. When do you think we'll see the real price of AMC? If all naked shorts no longer exist, the real price of AMC should be higher than Tesla's was before the stock split. I don't know. When we see the real price, I think is when they start covering, and at that point, is depending on how the community really holds strong, we'll be able to name the price. The no joke, and I'm not trying to make it sound like, put any sort of price predictions, but the sky's the limit, guys. It all really depends on how all this plays out. There's people proudly holding at 20. Snell Speed says 100%. Man, no share is like too little, and no share amount is too big. I think everybody, we're all in unique, different spots in our life. You grab what you can afford, and regardless of what you put in terms of investment, I think that the majority of us are going to walk away happy. I'm going to hold for you guys. I expect that you're going to hold for me. And I've said this in so many of my videos. Like, I didn't come in here to make like a little bit. Like, this isn't a night in Vegas where I win, like 10 grand or something like that. Like, I'm in this to make some life-changing money. Not some sort of scratch, like, good scratch off. I'd be happy to win, a $10,000 scratch off. Don't get me wrong. But my view is much larger for this. Yes, sir. I think that's very well said. You want to be able to take a vacation from work or take a permanent vacation from work. Corpus, yeah, we've been kind of going over it, my brother. I mean, it's really good stuff. I'm hoping, at the least, without putting any predictions or, you know, like getting people's hopes up for when something might happen. What I am confident saying is that we are going to see some level of them having to cover and make good on these failure to delivers. So this is great stuff. Another thing that I will say, guys, is that this, a lot of people, I think, were confused that this was some like new ruling. This isn't like a new ruling. This has been around for quite some time, actually. Like, I'm trying to see when the hell was this written, because this is one of the first documents on it. I was reading through this today, and you guys, it's just so much shit. And this whole article is about shorting and stuff like that. So this, last time this was modified was on 2004. So we know at least up until that time, the threshold security list has existed and the rulings have been in play for this sort of thing. So it's not really necessarily a new filing or anything like that. It's not a new ruling. We just happen to be on that list, and for the first time in a while. My fear is this will drag on until 2022 and the shares might get diluted and therefore extending or possibility killing the MOAS. You know, again, I, in my personal opinion, I think that, you know, I'm thinking in a sooner rather than later. You know, but it's hard to speak on that, man, because at this point in time, that's all speculation. Even the dilution, we don't know if that's going to happen. So if, in my opinion, you shouldn't stress yourself out about that kind of thing, especially because we don't really have a whole lot of control over that anyways. Maybe on the dilution, on that side of things, we do. You know, we don't even know what's going to happen here. Like, even with the vote coming up, which I encourage you guys to exercise your vote, your right to vote. You don't have to even tell me. I'm not even interested in what you guys are going to vote. No offense, but I think that everybody should keep that to yourselves. But I encourage you to vote. And, you know, when that happens, will you know, the squeeze may have happened. You know, I haven't even made a decision yet. Alex, good morning, brother. Thank you for coming in. Alex is one of my big OGs. I appreciate you. It's 3:30 in the AM over there for you in Florida. Sloan, I tend to agree. I think before we see, you know, maybe one of the theories that I could expect to see is maybe some liquidation of some other assets that they own to make good on these failure delivers. If that happens, that's a good thing for us too. Even if it's not 100% the squeeze, we will see the price action from that. Hayden, when will the vote email go out? I've actually already got my voting materials. You could call your broker to make sure that you get it. But also check your junk mail, because mine was actually in my junk mail for some reason. I have no idea why. All right. So we got about 30 minutes, guys, until the pre-market opens. We can look a little bit, since somebody asked and there's new people coming in. Here's one of the articles that I was reading and kind of checking out when I was digging into the threshold regulation list, basically. So let's just see what happens to stocks going on the NASDAQ, or this works the same way for the NYSE threshold list. This is going on the list inhibit further short sales because more than all available shares have already been borrowed, allowing price to drift upward. Does it indicate that shorting has been overdone? Or does appearance on the list scare off potential buyers, driving price lower? Using the daily NASDAQ threshold list for June 2005 and contemporaneous daily stock price from Yahoo Finance, we find that. And this is just, I'm going to read this off because this is interesting. This is, I'll give you guys, like, this is insight. This is basically how I would start my process in digging into a video for you guys if there was something that I would interested about. So I'd find several different sources, the official rulings from, like, you know, the actual SROs, and then kind of start piecing things together. So what it says is, we assume that by June, the threshold list maintenance process has matured since first implemented at the beginning of 2005. We find that 383 securities appear on the NASDAQ threshold list during June 2005. So for that month, there was 383 securities that landed on the threshold list. 141 of the 197 instances involve stock price less than $5 at the time they enter the list, or currently if no historical data is available. So either they're under $5 or they have no real idea because there's no historical data on it. Many of these low price stocks are OTC or pink sheet issues. 32 of 197 instances involve stocks priced over $10 at the time they enter the list. Yahoo Finance has historical price data for this involved in 141 of the 197 instances. Many of those stocks without historical data have current prices below 25 cents. So again, these are like that pink sheet shit that we're talking about. Of the 141 stocks entering the list for which there is historical price data, 47 exit the list by the end of the month. So people, again, so because they have to, especially if they're heavily shorting stocks, if they want to continue doing what they're doing and fighting their battle, they're going to have to do it. So 47 got out before the end of the month. So as the pink bars on the chart below show the average returns for all 141 stocks for which Yahoo Finance has historical price data at 1 day, 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, and 21 days after they enter the NASDAQ threshold list during June 2005. The red bars show the average returns for the 31 out of the 141 that have prices of at least $10 when they enter the list. And the green bars show, for comparison, the average returns over the same intervals for NASDAQ Composite Index for all days from June 2nd through June 30th. So the red bars, which are stocks that have basically over $10, their returns are far greater than any that are listed on this. And so to me, that puts AMC in a pretty strong position. Again, leads me to believe that after when companies are in a position where they're, on this list, or security gets on this list and the company that owes those failure delivers, when that happens, typically the returns are greater. And hopefully that made sense to you guys. Alex, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it, my brother. You were always showing out. You don't have to do that. I love it, though. Just for the support that you continuously bring for me, man. You were always out here showing love. Jake says, I believe new chair of SEC is closing the loopholes the hedges use. That's why we don't see them much. Wonder, oops, chat moved. Wonder if politics are preventing them from doing more since it's half Republican, half Democrat. I don't know. I think at the end of the day, regardless of party, I think all those guys stand to make money from the shit that we're seeing. So I think they're probably all just as corrupt as the hedge funds that we're against. I'm hoping that Gary comes in and really starts rolling heads. Let me pull back up the German pre-market chart. Sorry, guys, if I rambled off. Down 0.39%. Let's see here. Now y'all says email vote already went out. Yes, it did go out for some people already. I already got it, but make sure you guys are checking your junk folders and just make sure. And again, you don't need to tell me your vote, but just let me know, or not let me know, but just make sure you guys do exercise your right to vote. I think my boy Alex, and I don't think he'll mind me saying this, is from, I won't say what city, but he's in Florida. Alex, he says, I'm willing to lend my shares out at 10K per share on loan. You think Citadel would take that offer? I mean, there might be a point where that becomes a reality fairly soon, my friend. Chopper says, share delusion will stop the squeeze and bail out hedgies. If the vote comes in as a yes, I'm out on AMC. After the squeeze, I have no problem giving them the shares, but AA has slowed the squeeze twice. Chopper, I got mad love for you. Even if the shares that are on this vote, which is what, 25 million, I don't think that even that kills the squeeze. I think the overall, you know, looking at it from a top view, right? Looking at everything, I think that's a drop in the bucket. And we've shown that we can sustain that, and it's really not affected us too much. It may have slowed down the process, but in fact, I think it's kind of battle tested people for when we start seeing some of these violent swings. But man, to each their own. Like I said, I just think that it's not going to affect us the way that I think people might hype up or tend to believe that it will. Sean and Hannah says, you need a Lou picture in the back. Lou don't want to be in this, and I don't want to put Lou in there. He'll get pissed off. I like Lou. I think he's a great dude from the most part, from what I can see him. I haven't watched all of his videos, but he seems like a knowledgeable guy. But Lou don't want to be in my theater. I promise you that. Yes or no? I appreciate it, man. It's all in spirit. I actually have no Pacifico tonight. It's gonna be a little bit more of a chill stream. Get all crazy and loopy. Man, people are not going to give up, Chopper. I don't think so. And if they do, it'll be a very small percentage of the people. People have been in this ride for too long, man. I think that you're, and don't get me wrong, I understand what you're saying, but I think that you're underestimating. I think people are super in on this because it's, you know, it's their shot. They went all in. Christian Tears, man, thanks for coming by and hanging out. I appreciate it. Alex, it's open, man. I put a rock there for you, man. It's always open. Angelina says, I'm new and my teen daughter is talking at me. Well, welcome to the ape family. You're now an ape-ette. I think you made a wise choice. I'm not a financial advisor, though. I'm convicted as hell. I'm curious to know. So if your daughter's in school, like I assume teenage, so assume she's in high school. What I wonder if anybody in high school is talking about like AMC like this, or if they're still a little bit too young to be thinking about the stocks. I know when I was in high school, I certainly wasn't. Or if their parents maybe, or hear their parents talking about it. Obviously, your daughter hears you talking about it now. James, what's going on, man? Yeah, people are awake right now. It's only 12:40 for me. Alex, I really appreciate that. Not your business. I ain't sound the same. As my boy Jackson Hunter would say, I love that. AMC is a new lifestyle. Yeah, it's a lifestyle I've been living. Like I said, my whole sleep schedule, and I know you guys feel the same. My shit's all out of whack. When I'm working, I feel like I'm on autopilot. It's definitely impacting my work. Oh, your son's 19. Okay, so he's out of high school. Your daughter's the one that told you about it in January, not your business. That's awesome. Are you concerned with all this Delta variant shutting things down again? That could be an issue the longer this plays out. You know, I haven't been paying attention to really this like COVID or anything. I'll be honest with you, I'm really burnt out on it. So I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Is there like a new version? I don't know. I don't think they're in a position to go out, and I don't think, number one, the government's in a position to start to give out a bunch of money for people to go run crazy and get into SPACs and invest in the SPNY and all this crazy shit. I don't think they can do it again. They could double up like that. So we'll see. Shit. That's about as much as I know about it. You know, I could see some plays being made. I don't know. Like I'm so like with AMC, I'm so convicted, and I'm so new to this, and maybe you guys can feel this way as well. But I do want to, and maybe a lot of you guys probably actually want to get the hell out of the markets, but I've enjoyed kind of my time learning about all this. So I do want to make some plays in the market after this is all said and done. My problem is that learning a lot of the technical stuff, I feel like at least when it comes to charting and stuff, you know, I'm constantly trying to hone my skills on that. But, you know, AMC's, I feel like a little bit of a hard stock to learn that on just because it's so manipulated. James, I think I tend to agree with you. I don't think that we'll see anything get shut down immediately, you know, unless there's like where they have to. But I think that would be like absolute last resort. I don't know how that would work. Ohio in the house. King. Vortex, another West Coast or East Coast. Brother, we got a lot of people from the East Coast. $2:43 a.m. in Texas. Alex says, you know how much I've liked the stock. This is for the new apes. I took a $700 loss on a position I was in just to buy more AMC. I say this so all new apes feel comfortable with AMC and trust the DD. I'll be honest with you, man. I've done the same. I've sold some positions at a loss, especially FOMO buying in. Like, I'm guilty of it. I'll be straight up, like, panicking, like, oh, I'm gonna, like, you know, especially, and this is back when we were seeing, like, you know, 25 to, you know, 10-cent days. It was just absolutely frightening me, panicking positions to load more into AMC. Another Ohio night out. Man, you guys are up late. Shit. Hector says it's all timing and technicals. All stocks are shorted to some degree. You know what? I believe it. I know shorting is in some ways, obviously not on AMC and how it's being used here, but I've read a lot of pretty compelling articles that shorting is just kind of a healthy part of the market as well. Obviously, when it's not irresponsibly used like what we're seeing. Deontay up late from Vegas. Another one of my Vegas brethren in here. It's so crazy me being from Vegas. I just, you know, my friends weren't talking about stocks and shit when I lived there. I must have been hanging out with the wrong crew. Not your business says I've also sold at a loss for AMC. Not big losses, like 700 though. I don't remember if mine were, I know that they were over, you know, a couple $100. I sold my Doge at a loss, got in high by AMC and made up all my losses. Hey, man, hats off to you, brother. Good shit. Josh Marlowe's from Vegas as well. Mago, is this US only? No. We've had people from Hong Kong in here tonight. Australia. Definitely not. This shit's worldwide. Very familiar with Henderson well. All right, guys, we got about 15 minutes until the pre-market opens. We will be watching that. Surge strategy, I'm gonna have to replay what this said, man, because I didn't see it. I can't see the message. Well, I really appreciate the super chat. I know that you've been in here, Surge. I've actually seen you multiple times in my live stream, pretty much whenever I do them. So I appreciate you being loyal and coming in and hanging out with me. Birdie Hunter. Yeah, we were just looking. Actually, I think we've seen a couple. So we've seen a couple consecutive days, actually. So we've got the 22nd for GameStop being on this list. We got the 22nd. We've got the 21st. We've got the 20th. The 19th. So we got those days. And then I believe the 20th December as well. Maybe it was the 28th. I have a bad memory. 28th. 29th. 30th. 31st. This is what we want to see kind of for AMC is the continuous days. That means they're not covering and it'll just acts as like just like a big spring is what I'm hoping it does anyways. We can actually, when we look at pre-market, I'll pull up the, when we go to pre-market, what we'll do, we'll cross-reference these dates with the following days in the charts, and we'll take a look at that when I pull up the charts for when the pre-market opens. So that'll be something good that we could go over. ApeCon shout out. Yo, Corey, I believe that I'm going to do tomorrow something. I can't remember exactly what time it is, but I have to check that. I have it set up in my calendar. We're going to do something with TMI and Short the VIX. I think we're going to chat with that gentleman. He's doing some pretty cool stuff for ApeCon. I'm Horizon Rich. When I was younger, I used to do side work in the houses that were out there, those mansions. Josh. Carl Taylor says, I rolled 60K from Doge into AMC. Crazy. Hopefully you made a lot of money from your Doge and then you were able to get in early on AMC to a point where you're up even more now. Ted, what are we voting for? We were just talking about when the about the AMC proxy vote, that some people have gotten their email. You should check your email if you haven't. Make sure you check your junk. Not, you can always call your broker and make sure they get you taken care of. Let's pull up, go back to the pre-market real quick here. Down 0.15%. Jake, I'm gonna do my part, man. I'm gonna be going like if ApeCon, when all this pops off, and if ApeCon actually becomes, well, I know it's a thing, but I mean, it looks like it's gonna be the turnout, like where it's actually gonna be all these apes showing up. That would be absolutely nuts. And I'm getting really shitty. I might get real crazy. SoFi says, when will the SEC start doing their job? I think they're in the process right now, man. I think we're at the early stages where they're gathering. You're seeing all these different rulings come out for all these different, SRRs, the DTCC, basically all of its subsidiaries. All these rules are getting implemented. I think it's really a matter of time. Do they have to cover the naked shorts and or synthetic shares? And who will they pay to cover those? Like who gets the money? We do. We get that money. Yes, they have to cover the naked and the naked shorts and the synthetics. In fact, there's a great chance that, assuming that everything that we apes have believed for, since January is true, there's a good chance that the majority of us in here actually own synthetic and naked, shares. And they're going to have to buy them back as if they were real. And they're going to have to keep going back to keep buying to cover their positions. And if they buy a synthetic, it's like, okay, well, they bought it. You got paid. But they got to throw that one out of the pile. And they got to buy until they get those real shares back. I wanted into GameStop as well, but couldn't afford it back then. And now that I can, I'm still on an AMC. We own the float. I have a little bit of position in GameStop, but definitely very small in comparison to my AMC, which is why I guess, I've gotten flack, to be honest with you guys. It's not that it's not that I believe in AMC over GameStop, because I honestly believe that they're intertwined. I really do. I think they go hand in hand. Just AMC is where I've got a bulk of my, life savings in. So I tend to be a little bit more inclined to talk about that. Sinful says, when this thing squeezes, I will finally be above the law. Shit, me too. Deontay, yeah, so I was talking about this the other day. So aside from ApeCon, the company that I work for, and a lot of other companies that are in the industry that I'm in, that's what they do. They rent out these clubs for the night. I thought the XS would be a fun one for a summer party, just for the pool and shit. We were talking about this the other day. Actually, I was talking about this morning. Let's see. Corey says, Randall, for the failures to deliver, is it 13 days from Friday, June 25th, or was that day 6 of the 13 days? You know, so take this with a grain of salt, because, and I think I'll have a better answer for you tomorrow. But when I'm looking at Market Chameleon, which tracks the consecutive days, it's only showing 1 currently. So I don't even believe it's updated today's, and I'm expecting that I will see that tomorrow. That's what my like hypothesis is. So tomorrow I will have a better idea, and I think that will confirm whether it's 13 days from its first day on the list, or if it's taking into account the previous days where they were supposed to make good on the failure to delivers. But as of right now, I am not 100% sure. Being this number and the consecutive row is 1, it leads me to believe it just started though. But don't take me for 100% fact on that. Angelina, I should be asleep. You're addicted. What can I say? We're like fiends. Birdie says 90% AMC, 10% GME over here. Yeah, I have less than 10% of GameStop. I'd like to have more. I just can't help myself when I look at them. I'm like, oh, I want to buy more GameStop. I always end up hitting the buy button on AMC. Crazy thought. When a lot of us become rich, we'll be putting our money in with the hedge funds. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. I want to be considered smart money after I get rich from all this, right? I'd like to say that I would be in, you know, in the trends, looking at the things that I'm looking at now, these big option buys. You know, I want to be those option buys that are getting triggered on these alerts when, you know, unusual activity is happening. It's getting so hot in here. Appreciate, look, there's 200 of you guys in here. I love all you guys, for real. Thanks for being in here and hanging out with me. We're about 5 minutes away from starting. So what I'm going to do before the pre-market starts, I'm going to go turn my air conditioning on because I'm frying in my room currently. And I'm going to grab a drink and I'm going to use the restroom. So it'll be less than probably 3 minutes. So I'll leave you guys up with the German pre-market. Let's refresh this one more time. And I will be right back while I use the restroom. 1 sec.
Object to the test!
All right. Whew. Still hot as shit in here. All right, let's get TradingView open. Make sure you guys, well, sorry, I'm back. Sorry, I'm back. If I had you guys in here, wondering where the hell I was at. All right. We got 1 minute to go. And what did I say I was going to do? We would look at some of these GameStop dates. So we'll go and take a look at maybe what some of the price action looked like after the consecutive days when GameStop was on those threshold lists. All right, let me catch up on the chat. Sorry, guys. My ex-husband is a PhD in finance, but never did anything except teach. That's unfortunate. I mean, when you specialize in finance, is a lot of it is based around like security and like the stock market, or is it kind of encompass everything else? No Luck says just buy shares if you're scared of options. You help either way. So my honest opinion, if you don't know or understand options, know when you put your money in them, you are 100% making a gamble. Options are very... Holy shit, look at that candle. Oh my god. Let's go. Instant buy trigger right off the rip. Okay. That's a giant ass candle. Wow. Okay, so it's seen some selling pressure though. It touched $58 right there. All right. That's a good start. That's what I'm looking for though. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, Angela, that was a real candle. It did see some selling pressure. You look at it's a very long wick, but that was a nice big boom right off the open. All right, so what I'm going to do on the other screen here is I'm going to pull up. So let's look at this GameStop numbers. So we've seen the 19th, the 20th, the 20th. Let's just go to the 19th, actually. That's just much easier. So let's pull up the daily. We're going back to January. Well, I mean, the 19th. Let's see here, actually. I actually want to go back. Let me find the December dates because I think that's going to be more telling, actually. Let me see what those December dates were. But this is what so 19th, we've seen it the 19th, the 20th, the 21st, and I think the 22nd, and you've seen this major run. So now December obviously is going to be in this time frame too. So all this kind of led up to this initial run up. So actually didn't really show me a whole lot. We just seen the previous, you know, in December we had 3 consecutive days, and in January we had 3 consecutive days, and then you've seen this nasty run. AMC is doing some crazy shit. So we had one really large candle. We touched Kiss 58, and then now we're sitting at 57.74. 57.70. I'm going to be interested to see how this plays out here. Have the hedge funds started covering yet? Not that I don't believe that to be true, Velocity. I think that we're going to see some degree of covering with what we've seen with, you know, AMC being on that threshold security list. All right. It was fairly a lot of volume on that first initial candle. That was crazy. That fucking pop we had. Excuse my language. All right, let's switch GameStop to the 1 minute as well. They're just doing some like weird gap ups and gap downs currently. Now they're starting to get. That was in post market. So we're seeing two kind of just regular bars not looking the same as AMC currently. Oops. So want to see something crazy? Oh, it's the pre-market's not very good to do this on because you just see nothing but gaps. But the 1 second, if you look at the 1 second chart on a day-to-day basis, so like while the actual live market is open, it's absolutely nutty. All right, guys, so we'll sit and we'll kind of just chill out and take a look at what's going on. Chopper, thank you so much for the super chat. We hit in 60 in pre-market, baby. Let's go. I hope so, man. I hope so. I want to see some nice running, and let's see some good action here. We haven't had a really crazy day in the pre-market for a while. I think it's time. I know you guys agree with me on that. Serge says, are you both in AMC and GameStop? I am in way more AMC than GameStop. I have a very small, or I mean in AMC, I have a very small position in GameStop, but I watch it because, oh, that was a big gap down candle. I watch, I do watch it because a lot of people enjoy seeing that information as well. So we did get just a big gap down as well. Let's see. Come on, guys. Let's fight back here. Me too. Thank you so much for the subscription. Chopper, once again, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Nobody feel obliged. These guys have been, you know, throwing between Chopper and Alex, have been going nuts on hooking me up with super chats. But I just want to recommend to everybody that instead of giving me the money, because all I'm going to do is go buy AMC shares, do yourself the favor and buy yourself the shares. I really do appreciate the thoughtfulness from you guys, though, very much. Grizzly, I don't know if I could give you that. We living in the pre-market. That's the best you're gonna get out of me. Hopefully the auto-tune kicked on because I'm gonna sound like a real fool if it didn't. What we're looking for, guys, like as we're watching this, when you're looking at my charts, you're going to want to watch these red dots. We're looking for them to flip on the inverse so that we want them below the candles like you see here. When you start seeing them track down or you start seeing them form here, we will see some bullish action. And a buy signal just like literally right now is on right on the money. One just popped up and a buy signal actually triggered. So usually, you know, it's not always 100% right. But typically it's close and it's right. And let's see, obviously we're still seeing this resistance. So actually let me hook this up so we can see. So we can see the EMA energy as well here. Do. I sound like Britney Spears. Have I seen Dave's latest episode? No, I love Dave. I know there's 2 episodes I need to catch up on. I haven't seen them yet. GameStop's not moving. It should be. It's on the 1 minute. Let me refresh it. It should be rolling. I don't know why it wouldn't be. Let me put another stock in there real quick just to see. $103, $104. Why is it not actually? It's not tracking. Let me do this. That's very weird. I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, I don't think that it's right on the right side for GameStop. I don't know what's going on. Are there other hedge funds on our side? I think temporarily they could be on our side. I don't think they're really on our side, right? But, you know, currently BlackRock and Vanguard are definitely helping our case. It doesn't look like GameStop is moving, though, unless it is really just straight, like, barcoding. But I don't... It seems like something is up with it. AMC, though, we still have that buy trigger up, so let's see some more green candles. That's probably why I haven't pulled it up. I thought that something was wrong. I should pull up my Weibo and make sure that it, and see if it's just, that's just what's happening. Okay, no candle showing up, just price. Okay. Okay, so there's something that's just going on with it. Or there's just no price action, which is, that's kind of weird too. I don't think I've ever seen it like that. I mean, AMC's looking good right now. Sitting at 58, well, 57.97, touch 58.07. Jake says, you all know if institutional investors are going to sell off first. If you really want my honest opinion, then yes, I do. I think it would serve you guys well to mentally prepare yourself that there will be a point, and I don't know when, and nobody does, that some of these big institutions that have been holding will probably sell off their positions. But I think it's important to you guys realize it's not gonna, and again, this is kind of like when I was talking to Chopper earlier about, you know, even the dilution, it's gonna be a drop in the bucket, looking at this from a much larger perspective. So don't freak out when and if it happens, because I'm sure they will. Those guys have, you know, a fiduciary responsibility to make money for their clients. So I'm hard pressed to believe that they ride the whole entire squeeze out with us. If they aren't allowed to short during the FTD threshold, they are allowed to still engage in short positions, Corey. It's not till after 13 days of it consecutively being on that FTD list can they not short the position anymore, or cannot open up new short positions. AMC is looking mighty fine right now. All right, this is getting funky for me. I got to put on something different here. Yeah, not a problem, guys. Not a problem. All right, sitting at $58.10 currently, guys. Let's see if we can hold over 58. It'd be really nice. I would like to see AMC do something. I still feel like, I know you guys are saying that everything's good, but it feels wrong. Let me open up another chart again here. Oh yeah, so Apple's moving. It is just GME. The Apple with a giant ass red candle too. $200 of you guys in here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and joining the pre-market. I really appreciate it. You guys are giving it the juice. I know it. I can feel it. It's because we're all here putting that energy out into the world right now. We're causing green, large candles. It's because of us. Birdie says, don't just trust BlackRock and Vanguard. They own large positions in almost all companies in the world. They cooperate with most governments and have their own plans. Yes, I'm not banking anything off of what the hell they're doing. Like I said, I think that they will probably... I don't expect them to ride out the entire squeeze with us. I just think it would be important for people to mentally prepare yourselves for that day comes where we're not running around like a bunch of chickens with our heads cut off. We're going to be like, act like we've been here before. Jim, what's going on, Jim Connor? Thank you for hanging out and being with us tonight, man. This is bullish AF. 58.50 is our wedge breakout price, and we're already pushing at this early 60 plus easy end of day. I hope that you're right. I hope that you're right. You know, I'm thinking that we can, you know, if again, a really big thing on this whole, which is why this is such big news and why people are hyping this up, guys. Being on that threshold list again. A lot of you guys have been here for the majority of the stream, but for people that are just coming consecutively, if you're on that list for 13 trading days, you are going to lose your ability to short the stock. So if that is your whole game plan, which it is, that's the, you know, the people that we are fighting, these hedge funds, that is their main goal, right? Is to continue shorting the stock. They will lose the ability to do that. So we're going to see some level of covering fairly shortly. And do I think it's going to be all of it? Do I think it's going to be the squeeze? I have no idea. But one thing is for sure, we will see some covering to get themselves out of that budget. I have a hard time believing they're going to let themselves get to that 13-day point. We haven't seen it thus far. I think we went back and we've tracked it twice. I think they've been in 3 times, or for 3 consecutive days at most. So we're approaching that now. Tomorrow will be the second, or today was the 2nd consecutive day. And then if we, you know, are on there again tomorrow, that'll be 3 consecutive days. And then remember, we looked back. So if we go back to GameStop, let me switch it to the daily chart here. And if we're going to January, the 3 days that GameStop had their shit, it was the 19th, the 18th, 19th, and 20th, which are basically these days. Like this little area right here is when GameStop was listed on that list. And then you see what happened afterwards. And that could have been a lot of, you know, technically it was some level of covering, but even the DTC said in their hearing that there wasn't any really massive covering that was going on. So it could have been just making good on failure. I don't know. It's so hard to explain, but, and that's really at the end of the day why I'm kind of digging into this. And like, you guys seen that long document that I was reading? It's like 100 pages long. that covers everything that goes into this. So it's absolutely absurd. I'm going to do my best to bring you guys the correct shit. Yesser says, we want the institutions. I'm actually under the, I subscribe to the same belief, man. I think that people are so convicted when they sell those shares, we'll buy them out and then we'll own more of the float. So I just think that's an opportunity for us when the time comes. Yeah, Chopper, I think even when they cover these failure delivers, they're going to cover the minimum that they have to. I still think that they're going to continue playing these games. I don't think it's going to be the squeeze. Like I said, they're going to probably cover the bare minimum. But who knows what that number is, you know? I've read some stuff that said that, you know, it's failure delivers like in the range of like 17 million. Now, I haven't been able to verify that myself, but if that's the case, we're going to definitely see some price action from that. Baines, thanks for the info, bro. No worries, man. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Today, it must exceed 60 at any cost. I mean, we're going to be fine if we don't. I'd love to see us break 60, though. That would be awesome. I think it's very possible. Chopper, they can sell their... they can also sell their shorts and then re-short, right? You mean sell a shorter position to cover a stock? I don't know if that's possible. That'd be something I'd have to look into. I really don't know the answer to that. I was under the impression, though, I thought that you can't, you need to, you know, cover with a real share, but I could be wrong. This rule is designed, though, to stop naked shorting. It's basically what happens. It's either benign, like accounting error, why a company would end up on this, you know, this list, basically, or naked shorting. It literally says that. So I don't know if they'll be able to cover these positions with naked shorts. All right, so on the inverse, we are getting a sell trigger, but I don't know why. Actually, I haven't seen the PSIR switch over the candles, so I'm not really sure why this initiated. We might see some flat trading actually right now. Currently sitting at $57.95. So if we're looking at the 15-minute chart, it actually triggered a buy all the way in the pre-market yesterday, and it's continued that signal. So, and it actually looks like we might have another big little flag getting built right here. Interesting to see, though, that this hasn't changed for the whole entirety of the day, that buy signal. So we're in good territory, ladies and gentlemen. We're in a very good spot. Slick Rick says AMC is so much farther ahead than the rivals. Like I said, Regal trades at a measly $1.15 a share. And who gives a shit about Cinemark? AMC's soon going to have a monopoly. I could see them taking some of their cash, and you know, buying up some of these. Pam the Trader says, thank you for sharing your knowledge and thoughts. Thanks to all the apes for holding with us. Let's go AMC and Jimmy. Pam, thank you so much. I actually think I'm familiar with you, Pam. Do you do real estate by any chance? I think I've seen you in TMI stream. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. I agree with you. All the apes play a really vital role in what's going on. I find so much out, like information in terms of things that I didn't know that lead me onto like other rabbit holes with between Reddit, YouTube, Twitter. I mean, it's just information everywhere, and it's great because I'm information starved. So I'm always hungry for it. Grizzly Giant says, "Who is Dracula?" I mean, he's a vampire, right? I guess I don't know what if I missed the reference. Oh, okay. That's why he was asking. Corey, okay, that makes sense. Rusty Bone says, to be honest, the government should just allow this to go because a lot of people holding AMC are going to be using it to not have student loan debt from a baby ape. You know, I don't, you know, that's a tough thing to kind of, I tread lightly on that because I do think that, you know, even with all the rulings and stuff, there still has to be a level of enforcement. And, you know, if a lot of these organizations are self-regulatory and stuff, it could be forever before we see it. So I think there has to be some level of government intervention. But I agree. I'd love to see, I'd like agree with you that giving them rope to hang themselves is a good thing. Michael McKay's basically saying, yeah, they could drag this out some more, and I'm 100% could agree. I mean, you guys have heard me say this before. We're fighting the best of the best. It's not like, you know, this is just simple, you know, guys that, you know, have a little bit of money and it's like other traders. These are the best of the best. So like we've been seeing, they're pulling out all stops. You know, we're it's going to be a long ride. It has been a long ride. You know, I think we're getting close though. Yes, sir, says the government will profit off of capital gains. Please hold at least 50% of your attendees for the tax man. Yeah, I think that when you guys are having off days or AMC's trading sideways and you've done your DD for the day or whatever, you know, if you've got some extra spare time, start making a plan, game planning for what you're going to do when you have your money and how you're going to make that money work for you, and you're not going to be the lottery story that we all fear or hear about. All right, so we got a little bit of a gap down here. Kind of stepped our way down. Let's see what happens. Ron, what's good, man? Thanks for coming in, hanging out. Good to see you again, brother. Another regular coming in to say hello. I'm loving the camaraderie that you guys have all built, man. All you guys all becoming friends, and I'm seeing it like live, and it's not, and when I mean live, I don't mean just like on this chat. Like I'm seeing the brother and sisterhood kind of just weed out from just like the YouTube. It's spreading everywhere. I love it. That's how we're gonna win this fight, guys. Vegas Aviator says there are only so many stops that big boys can pull off, and the track is getting short. I tend to agree. And like I said, I'm also going to say that I'm never going to be surprised by any sort of tactic that we could see, right? Like these guys, you know, I'm sure they think they have an ace up their sleeve. Grizzly, I think we pretty much went over the major stuff. You know, there was $1 million call buy for January strike price, $145. It's a pretty big bet on an option. And then obviously, you know, from a fundamental standpoint, you know, AMC had an amazing weekend, you know, $400 million in the box office. Fast 9's the best performing movie since the last Star Wars movie in 2019. Really nice record bounce back. I mean, so from that standpoint, AMC is looking just as good. I really want to change brokers, but I'm scared to death. You know, I not your business. I'm so like, this is one thing that I feel very like scared to answer for you because I don't know. I really don't have no idea if it's because, you know, the squeeze could be 2 months from now. It could be tomorrow. Nobody has a crystal ball. Maybe personally, maybe if it were me and I really had to get out of there, maybe I would do a small, I would trade some, keep some in there just in case. I don't know. That's a very tough spot though. And I'm hoping maybe will give you some comfort that there's so many eyes on this right now. I would find it very hard to do it, to concede or believe that Robinhood or whatever broker that you're fearful of, you know, could commit the same sort of acts. So hopefully that builds you a little bit of a confidence. Cash App, did they have issues? I don't know much about Cash App. I do know that through AMC, on Webull now that you guys can buy fractional shares, which is pretty unique, right? Like that's a good thing, I think, for people that maybe want to continue buying that have exhausted the majority of their, you know, their liquidity. You know, you can buy little fractional shares here and there. I guess I haven't done it today. I try to do this only once a stream, but this is my obligatory like shout out. If you guys enjoy the content, you guys like hanging out with me or have watched any of my videos in the past, if you're not subscribed, do me a huge favor, like and subscribe to the channel. It does me a huge favor when it comes to getting my videos out there when I do release information. And then obviously it brings more people in when we do these live chats. And I learn just as much from you guys as I do from you guys learning from me. So I do appreciate you guys being here. Purge Forever, July 2nd. Is that when that movie comes out? I haven't watched a Purge movie for quite a while. Ron, you're making me hungry. Hey, Nick Finance. Thank you for coming in, brother. I respect this dude a lot, Nick Finance. If you don't watch his videos, that dude is on top of it. He's actually part of our podcast crew that we do with TMI. He's a really, really good dude. Thanks for coming in and dropping by and showing love, man. And the kind words mean a lot. Yes, I'm on some fried tendies and a cold beer. That sounds perfect to me right now.
Object to the test.
John Marsh, that is it's an indicator called AI signals, and I tweaked the shit out of it, but it's not hard. Works with TradingView. Ron, we're all gonna get rich together. Yes, I mean, I really do believe that if you are in the stock, this is the best play in the market right now. I expect to fully enjoy spending lots of money on my friends and family and doing good deeds and enjoying my life when this is all said and done. I know, Angelina, that's what I'm saying. I'm starving. I'm probably going to eat like top ramen because part of me is not going to feel like cooking when I'm done. And I don't think there's much in the fridge, to be honest with you right now. I need to go grocery shopping. I don't see not a financial advisor anywhere unless you're legally are one. Shouldn't you have that up just to be safe? I don't know. I think that if they were going to, well, I try to tread that lightly, but I think if they were going to come after somebody, I don't know if that would necessarily save you anyways. I actually have a lawyer that works for like our company. Granted, it's like internet law, and but I talked to him and he said that if you were actually going to use that, probably wouldn't hold up anyways. But I hope nothing bad happens from any of this. Like I said, it would be really unfortunate if I got in some legal trouble as I'm trying to learn with people. But I try to be very conscious of the information I'm saying. Can you speak on Adam Aaron? Hasn't he been counterproductive to the efforts of apes to force the squeeze? You know, man, I know there's a whole lot of people on the different sides of the aisle. If you're asking me if I was happy that, you know, we've seen shares, like I didn't wake up and was happy that I seen that there was, you know, 11 million shares that were given, you know, to various different groups, right? And Mudrick, for example, right? I wasn't happy about that. But I understand that from a CEO perspective, that he has to do that. I think in the short term, I think it helps his company out immensely, and I don't think it necessarily hurt us a crazy amount. But if you're asking me if I'm upset about it, I'm not like crazy upset, but I wasn't happy that he did that. And again, I think that he's in a balancing act right now, and it's almost like balancing or a juggling act. I'm sorry, like juggling like chainsaws. You know what I mean? He's got a company that he's got to keep from going bankrupt, which we apes have done a huge part in that. But this is something I covered in a different video, and I'm not trying to be like sympathetic towards Mudrick or anything like that. They have enough pain. You know what I mean? They sold out way early when they left millions and millions and millions of dollars on the table by exiting out of their AMC position early. So they got what's coming to them. But at one point, before we even entered the scene, they were the ones that were basically loaning out cash to AMC to keep kind of barreling through before we came along. So, you know, he's probably had obligations on that end as well. It's a very tough thing, man. Overall, I think that we should focus on, though, is how much did it affect us? Look at where we are at now. You know what I mean? We're up on the uptrend. The squeeze is still happening. I think we're golden. Gonzalo, I did, yes. I don't know if it's 7 days that they have. I wasn't able to verify that number. I've seen a whole bunch of different numbers on Twitter. What I can verify right now is that they say you need 13 consecutive trading days. And according to Market Chameleon, which I use for a lot of different reliable information, it only shows one consecutive day so far, or that the 25th. I'll be able to confirm my belief tomorrow, but I expect that to reach 2 consecutive days tomorrow, and then we'll be in that 13-day time frame. But that's just, I'm not 100% sure on that. So that's just my theory. Maricopa County, City, Arizona. I used to go. My girlfriend was from Mesa. We'd always go visit her family there. I know all about that area. Good night from Seattle, Aaron. You take it easy. Sleep well. Yeah, like I said, I think he wants us to be successful as well when it comes to Adam Aaron, guys. I think he wants it to squeeze us. If, you know, if he didn't, he could have done all these things regardless without ever kind of opening up. Like, they still had authorization for, what was it, 47 million shares to do whatever they wanted before that 500 million was even introduced. So he could have did any of that stuff like that he did in that. He could have done without even coming on and talking to us at all. So, you know, I know that he did come on and he was trying to pitch us in the 500 million. Realized that wasn't going to happen. He took a step back. At the end of the day, though, you guys are already talking about it. We said it. He's looking out for his company. Do I think that it hurt the squeeze, which I think is, again, what we should focus on? No, I don't. I think it was a little blip on the radar. Fart in the wind. Serge, thank you so much, man, for showing continued support. All right, so we're looking like it's kind of just seeing a little bit of gap up, gap down, nothing too crazy. Currently sitting at $57.79. Oops. No, listen, and there's no negative questions. Like, if you guys have a question, I'll do my best to answer it. And if I don't know the answer, I'll tell you. I just think that, it's important to understand that, you know, there's going to be different views on those things. And at the end of the day, I think what really matters is like, so regardless on your feelings of Adam Aaron, did it affect the squeeze? Maybe we've seen a couple slow days. I think that it didn't really change our overall trajectory. And that's what that's what I keep telling myself anyways. Archer says, I got a feeling it might pop. You know what, man? I got a feeling in my gut as well. I'm hoping for some good positive price action today. I know that we are going to see some covering on some degree with, you know, them being listed today on the threshold securities list. Angelina says, I don't care about my success. I care about my kids getting away from all the guns and crimes. So that's one thing I notice. A lot of people in here, you know, it's not even so much about them. It's providing better life for their family. I can respect that for everybody. I live in Australia at 6:40 p.m. Right on, Brendan. A lot of my clients live in, we work with that are one of our biggest, I guess our biggest client, actually. They're from Bondi Beach. Rusty Bone, the volume's been a little bit low in the past couple days. We might see a spike today, though, with some of this news coming out. We'll see. Let me take a look, John. Let's see if I can find what you're talking about here. I think you meant the DTC. Let's see here. I have so many DMs. This shit's, I was honestly not, this part I wasn't expecting, like connecting with all of you guys. I try to answer them, and I actually do answer all of them, guys. It just might take me a day or two. It's hard for me to get back to all of them immediately. All right, I think I found the link. Actually, no, I didn't. Unless you tag me. Did you send it in a DM or did you tag it? Oh, I didn't see it, man. You have to send it to my DMs. You hear volume doesn't matter. I mean, it's not a bad thing. When we have volume, that means, you know, there's buying action. So, I mean, I like it when we got volume for sure. Slick Rick says, think how Adam Aaron feels when he checks his Twitter. No shit. Or even somebody like Trey or Matt. It's got to be unreal. And what's crazy is I've had people actually get angry. Not angry, but, you know, kind of get a little bit impatient. And it's, you know, it's just at a point where it's not, I swear, if you guys ever feel impatient, it's not because they don't want to get back to you or you know, they're too big. It's just, it's a lot. I'll be honest, because I see it just on, I'm a small fish in a very big pond, and I see it. Umber Beast, yeah, they've been Schwab did increase some margin requirements. There's some, it's looking like people are getting in position to definitely jump on, get out of the way of this grenade. Randall, I did some research music for streams. 3 strikes and get a channel canceled. Ask Spotify for a license that works. They gave this link. Check it out during your free time. I don't see the link. I hope that shit doesn't happen. I'm using Spotify right now. I haven't seen anything about a strike. But that scares me. Jojo, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. You don't have to do that, man. If you just chat, you can show me love. I really do appreciate the super chat, man, though. It means a lot. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us, dude. I enjoy being here. Mark says the main thing is volume is increased for the first time since June 17th. That's good. So if we're seeing some volume increases, and for the first time since then, I mean, and like I said, we've got some pretty good news. It could serve as a little mini catalyst. Could be some good stuff. Ron, I agree. I think this is going to be a good week for us. Who are we fighting with? Is it Citadel or a robot built by Citadel? Why aren't they being morally guilty? It's probably, it's both. It's a program that has no moral compass that was built by, it's, we're fighting. It's not just Citadel. It's these, there's a lot of different companies that are, out here probably partaking in some of this activity that we're seeing, and I don't know if they have a moral compass. It's about making money for them at all costs. Not your business. I haven't been one bit worried on whether or not it'll squeeze. It's just a matter of time. 100%. Do I have Ortex for share utilization? No, I actually just rely on them posting. You know what I mean? Or I'll look at Matt's Twitter or stream to check out the Ortex stuff. To be honest with you guys, and I hope that you're not mad at me for saying this, but I mean, Ortex, I think it does definitely. It's a close way. It's a way that we can get close to what the numbers are, but even those I think could be skewed. All this short interest is all self-reported, so I even take that with a grain of salt. I definitely think it's important for sentiment, though, for sure. Jason says, "Let's go, family. Hold strong. The best is yet to come." 100%. I agree very much. The best is yet to come. How long can these shorts keep rolling over and not paying up their put losses? Not forever, man. It's getting more and more expensive, Shannon. As far as when and where, nobody could tell you that. I'd be hard pressed to find anybody that could. They'd be a fortune teller. It's not something that I believe that can run on forever. And obviously, even with we're seeing these threshold lists, the failure to delivers are mounting up. And I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know how they're going to cover these positions. That's why I'm feeling very bullish. I don't know how they're going to do it. Evan, it's not 100% if it's within the next 13 days. It's if AMC remains on that threshold security list for 13 consecutive days. Well, no, they're going to have to cover those. They have to cover them, yes. The answer to your question is yes. So they do have to cover them within 13 days. If they don't, the rule still stands. They still do have to cover them. They're going to be forced to cover them. But after that 13-day period, they can no longer open or initiate in short positions until they make good on those failure to delivers. Seeker says, remember the movie Wolf of Wall Street? The quote, greed is good. That is what drives hedge funds. I think that the majority of it is that, but I also know that a lot of these guys, man, they think they're the smartest dude in the room, and they have egos the size of fucking hot air balloons. Trust me, ego and pride is a huge thing. That's why they're still in this right now. I can't help but think they know that they've already lost, and it's become much more of an ego thing for them. That they don't want to get beat by a bunch of cranny-eating apes. Who downvoted this as a short in the building? Give them potassium. Hey, man, I'm appreciative of everybody coming in and enjoying the content. And I'm always, when I get constructive criticism, I always try and learn from it. Grizzy says hedgies are fucked. I do believe that they are. Like I said, nonetheless, right? They're gonna have to have some level of covering within 13 days, or not within 13 days, but as long as they're on that list. If they're on that list for 13 days and they don't cover, it's going to be some massive problems for them. So I don't believe that they are going to stand up for 13 days. I really don't. But that means that there's going to be some covering. I have no idea about that, Brendano, to be honest with you. Sorry. Tyson, I'm sure Kenny already needs it, man. That fool has probably got ulcers. Stressing the hell out. All right, let me fix these charts up for you guys. So now we're just seeing the volume kind of really dry up down here. You know, I don't stay up usually throughout the whole pre-market, but you East Coast guys and girls can actually enlighten me on this. So what time do you kind of see the pre-market really light up? Obviously, it's 1:50 a.m. here on the West Coast. It's kind of just right around the open. So is there a point as we get closer to the market open that you start seeing it get pretty nutty? Oops, sorry. Did not mean to switch the charts, guys. Vegas Aviator says apes don't have to cover or don't have to sell. Hedge funds have to cover. 100%. Yeah. You guys don't need to feel forced to sell. They're going to be forced to cover. They'll just pay the fine. I don't think there's a fine for this. Like, I think they're forced to do it or they can't engage in any more short positions, lock-in funds. If you're talking about what we were just talking about with the threshold securities, there's no fine. It's either you cover your positions or you can no longer engage in a short position on that security. Okay, a lot of 7 a.m. 7 a.m.'s okay. Chopper says if they can't cover, DTC Insurance will step in. I think that they'll be able to cover. I think that they might have to close out of all their other positions, which is good. I want to bleed them fucking dry. Blunt says squeeze will trigger today. Well, if you've got an extra crystal ball around, send me one too. My brother, I don't know about that. I hope it does. I hope you're right. All right, this music's getting crazy. What's up with the high call options in December? People maybe just, you know, giving themselves some time for it to come to fruition. I know that, like I said, we covered this earlier today in the video. There was $1 million bet on that 145 strike in December. So there's definitely some big money. No worries. Enjoy your enjoy your night. Have sweet, sweet dreams. Dream about AMC. Okay, wait. AMC, or I'm sorry, GameStop just had a nice gap up to 15.50. Okay, guys, how's everybody feeling? So I know that most of us are bullish for tomorrow. How many of you actually have to go to your jobs and actually work and kind of have to be a slave to your phone and watch the markets, or the majority of you guys actively engage with the markets when they're open? Hey, Paulie, take it easy, man. I definitely understand. Thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with us. Wish I knew how to do call options, Jason. Be very careful, man. They can eat you up if you don't know what you're doing, right? So before you do it, I highly advise getting on the internet, checking out some guys. There's tons of videos of some really knowledgeable people explaining them. Go over them. And then my personal advice, and you may not want to hear this, before you even try to consider going live with real money or anything like that, paper trade and just learn the ropes. They're extremely dangerous, though, if you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, 100%. I'm just saying that that's a significant buy purchase for, $1 million that far out. This is expensive. That was an expensive option. 100%. John, we're not getting much sleep anymore as well with the way that AMC is. Do I do call options? I've got a few that I play with. I mainly use call options as a way to, for some quick profit. And then I usually flip those into the majority of them, I would say like 80% into shares. And then I'll roll out, more options for later dates. So just constantly rolling those profits into more shares, which is the overall goal. Object to the test. Seeker says, I'm retired. Simply check the market several times during the day. Hey, congratulations on the retirement, man. I'm jealous. That's awesome. Vegas is no work until the 12th in the market first thing in the morning. Good feels about this week. 100% agree with you. Vegas Aviator, are you a pilot, or do you do that because of the AAA baseball team? Is your name? Retired military. Well, thank you for your service. Ex-gamer, now baby ape, who's into the stock market 24 hours a day. I love it. Umber, that's tight. Again, thank you so much for your service. Only watching the markets this week. Hope they don't come up with yet another trick to kick the can down the road. I think this one's going to be very hard to kick the can down. Like, even if they do kick this can down the road, they're still covering failure. They're still covering a failure to deliver position. So we are going to see some price action for sure. Hey, Sean, and you know what? It's at least you get to help your mom doing something. She's going to be really thankful. Hopefully the kitchen looks nice. Richard in Tennessee, thank you so much for the subscription. I really appreciate it, brother. I think so. It's 2 o'clock here. I really do like hanging out with you guys, but it's still burning up even with the AC running here. These lights are kind of having an effect on me. I know TMI is going to be on shortly, so make sure you guys go hang out with him and let him know if you guys are still here from this chat. Tell him I said hello. I think I'm going to close it off here. So that being said, if you guys enjoyed the content and enjoyed hanging out with me again, one more, shameless plug, like and subscribe so we can hang out again. I will catch you guys tomorrow with some more live videos. We'll do another live chat.